afternoon, my conscious co-creators. Welcome to another edition of the Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity. I am very, very pleased that you are here with me today. What a beautiful day in New York City. I know we have listeners from around the world, everywhere from Mexico to Japan to China to Nepal. And I know when I say the weather, I talk about the weather here in New York, sometimes it's a little hard for you guys to relate to. But if you've ever visited New York, if you've ever been here on a beautiful spring day, and this is spring, very quickly becoming summer, we've passed Memorial Day weekend, so the weather has just turned nice. You walk around outside, people are like happy, they're smiling, they're laughing. It's just amazing how a little bit of sunshine can totally change the atmosphere of an entire city. And I hope those of you who listen to this podcast from other places, if you've never made it to New York City, I really do sincerely hope that you'll come and visit our fair town. It's really, in my opinion, I've lived here my entire life. I love New York so much, and I really feel that New York truly is like the capital of the world. You have everything here. You have every culture, every kind of food, every kind of just anything you could possibly look for to enrich your life is here in this one tiny 12-mile long island. I think it's only 2.5 miles wide. The people are amazing. Nobody I know who comes here, whoever has had trouble, nobody has ever said that, like, oh, New Yorkers don't help you out, they don't come to your aid. We always do. We always do. So I hope all our listeners, please take this as my personal invitation to come out and visit the New York City, the Big Apple. And of course, if you're around and you'd like to stop by the Talking Alternative Studios, we would love to have you drop by. We actually once did have a woman who was on vacation from Germany, Sigrid, and that memory of that very short visit of her stopping by, it still means a lot to me and to us all here at Talking Alternative. So I hope you will take us up on that offer sometime. I'm glad you're with me. We have a wonderful show in store for you today. My guest is calling in, hopefully any minute now. But of course, we'll start off first with our quotes of the day. Let's see what the universe and Abraham have in store for us today. First, from the universe. I've got good news and bad news. The good news is that you've passed the audition. Yeehaw! You've earned your wings. You're a certified, bona fide being of light, capable of transcending all fears and manifesting all dreams. From here on out, you have but to dwell upon what you want, and I must bring it forth. The bad news is that this message was supposed to have reached you eons and eons ago. Sorry, the universe. We love our quotes from Mike Dooley and the universe. The universe reminding us that we are bona fide beings of light and that we do have the capability to just transcend all of our fears and everything that terrorizes us and holds us back, and that we can and do manifest all our dreams. I once heard someone say, there is no difference between our inner world and our outer world. And what we manifest around us is merely a reflection of the thoughts we think, the emotions we feel, and how we feel about ourselves. People tend to forget that last part. We really have to feel good about ourselves to really manifest those things that we think we want. And I think the universe here is just having a little fun with us. The message got lost in translation somewhere along the way a few eons ago. But not to worry. We've all earned our wings. We all are beings of light, ultimately, in our core, in our very essence. And the funny thing is, mystics have been saying this for thousands and thousands of years. And the better and better we get at physics and science and measuring things and measuring the subtle fields that surround us, the closer and closer science is coming to agree with this belief that mystics have had for thousands of years. So, please take it from the universe. You've got it made. You've got your wings. Everything is good. So, thank you, universe. Let's see what Abraham has in store for us today. The thought that you think, which attracts to it. So you think it some more, which attracts to it. So you think it some more. In other words, when you have an expectation, you've got a dominant thought going on, and law of attraction is going to deliver that to you again and again and again. And you say, the reason that I believe this is because it is true. And we say, the reason that you believe it is because you've practiced the thought. All that a belief is a thought that you keep practicing. Abraham. Rather interesting quote from Abraham, and one that really kind of gets to the heart of why paying attention to our focus and our thoughts is so important, and why this whole idea of truth is much, much more subjective than we think it is. Much more. You see, the only reason why we believe something is true is because we keep focusing on it. We keep pondering upon it. We keep thinking about it from a million different angles. And so what happens is, if we think something is true, we start attracting other thoughts like it. We start attracting things to prove what we think is true. And sure enough, the more we focus on it, the more we pay attention to it, the more and more it's proven we're right. Think about it this way. Have you ever met somebody and they just rubbed you the wrong way, and there was something about them you didn't like? And for some reason you had this feeling you didn't like them, and all of a sudden you were like on hyper alert mode. And then because you had this feeling you didn't like them, then you noticed there was this thing about them you didn't like. And there was that thing about them you didn't like. And you didn't like how they treated this person in the restaurant. And you didn't like, what they said on the phone. And they didn't like this. And you didn't like that. 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 So obviously this person must be not a good person. This is not someone you want to be around with. This is, absolutely, for a fact, this is not a good person. Until you happen to be talking about this person to somebody else. And they turn to you and go, really? I've never had that experience of that person. Wow. Because, I know this person, I see them, as a father, and I see how loving they are with their kids, and we talk about our children together and this and that, and you start getting their perception, and because they had something about the person that they liked instead of dislike initially, they focused on their good qualities, and then before you knew it, there was more and more and more good things. So this other person was completely convinced that this was a good person, that this was someone they loved to hang out with. And you two are looking at each other like, is this the same person? This is two totally different experiences. Well, what Abraham is saying is that the more you think in a particular certain way, the more you're going to attract evidence, other thoughts. You're going to observe things to prove yourself right. Right? Because ultimately our brain wants to be proven right. We want to be proven right. Nobody wants to come out and go, I made a mistake. Or there might be some other possibilities. So whenever, and it's a very kind of tricky thing, the idea of learning to be open, of learning that to not believe our own stuff. Yeah, you may have a feeling. Yeah, you may have, a suspicion this guy might not be the best, but let's be open. Let's just, observe them without judgment, without expectation, and let's see what is revealed. It's actually a very, very difficult thing to do. So when we say something is true, right, we mean it. It's true for us. But I think what's important to understand is just because something is true for us doesn't mean it's true for anybody else. It's true for us because we've focused on it, we've thought about it, we've attracted more thoughts about it. We just kept bringing more things to prove that what we think is true is true. But if we change our mind, if we reverse what we thought was true, and we start focusing and looking on the opposite, gosh darn it, before too long, you know what happens? How could I have ever thought that about that person or that thing or this situation or that event? Look at this. Look at all this great stuff. Oh my God, how I was completely wrong. Oh my God, how could I have missed this? It's really quite interesting. We are so convinced that we're always right. And we forget the reason why we think we're always right is because as we keep thinking and thinking and thinking and looking at the situation and turning it over from 500 different angles, we're always coming from the same perspective. We're always coming from the same point of focus. We're always attracting, right? Like attracts like. We're always attracting more to prove that we're right. Right? Donald Trump supporters believe they're right. Their candidate's the best. Hillary Clinton supporters believe they've got the best candidate. They're right. Bernie Sanders supporters believe their candidate is best, and they're right. And you know what? They're all right for themselves. Because ultimately, if we take the judgment away from it, if we stop focusing on finding evidence to prove us right, and perhaps be a little bit more scientific, right? The idea of the scientific method is about finding the truth without bias and without objection and without attachment. So whenever anybody tells you something is true, my advice, say, that's interesting. Maybe. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's see. Let's be open. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. Maybe there's one truth. Maybe there's two truths. Maybe there are multiple truths. Maybe this person believes it's true because they've been focusing on it so long, that's all they see are the sides that prove that they're true. And maybe the truth is actually something much deeper, much more complex, and perhaps maybe we're the ones who are generating the truth. And perhaps the only reason why something is true is because we believe it. And if we change our beliefs, who knows, maybe we change the truth. So, welcome to the Conscious Consultant Hour. I'm waiting for my guest to call in, Tim Davis. Hopefully he calls in. If not, you know the two of us. We're going to have a lot of fun here today. So everybody, please stay tuned. You're listening to me, Sam Liebowitz, your conscious consultant. And if you'd like to call in, join the conversation, ask a question, have a chat, the call-in number is, of course, 877-480-4120. And if anybody internationally would like to call in, +1 212-721-8180. We'll be right back after these messages.